Episode number 10.
What's up?
Welcome to the Boss Lady Podcast. I am the host, Mia Lands.
Jesse Mena, how are you?
Monique Dials. And Alicia.
Yes. Gotta introduce yourself.
Hi, guys.
We are in episode number 10, ladies. Let's pull out those jazz fingers and show them episode number 10.
Let's be naughty on a Naughty Monday.
It is National Peanut Day, y'all, so bring these nuts out.
Let's be naughty girls on number 10.
Let's be nutty and naughty at the same time, hey?
Yes.
So were you naughty this weekend, Jesse?
Well, a little bit. Some things cannot be shared because they have to be PG-13.
Okay.
But what did I do? I went to dinner. I was in Orlando. I had a nice dinner with a couple of friends, and it was very nice. And then I was, kind of wanted to share this. Over the weekend also, I was at the gym and I happened to have a couple of firemen actually doing the whole,
Because you were too hot, right? Because you were too hot and had to hose you off.
Right.
I knew it.
But that was, I was actually like pretty impressed, that so many people was doing this thing for the remembrance of 9/11.
That's right.
And so, it touched me, to see them doing that, because I think we all remember, where we were and what we were doing, all this kind of stuff. So, but just, just something brief, that I want to share in regards to that I always take as an example of what happened that day, and I implemented in my life, in the sense that when I moved from Costa Rica, the situation that we had, was very tough, and it was something that we had to walk away from and couldn't look back. So sometimes when I try to explain, things to people, I tell them, think about the people that were standing on those towers.
Right.
They were deciding to jump. So it just makes you wonder, like, what are you facing at that moment to make you think that jumping, it's a better solution? I mean, it's like bad to worse. So, sometimes we think, the situation that we're living, it's bad, but in reality, we don't know.
It can always be worse. And things
Exactly. So
I agree.
But I mean, now looking back, it's like, thank you, God, because He walked with me the entire time.
Correct,
and I'm here to tell the story, and unfortunately those people, couldn't do the same, but I'm sure God has them in their, in their place.
Absolutely.
Of course, yes. So 9/11, I know I was in college living it up, and then to hear something like that happen, I mean, it makes you, again, when things happen to you or happen around you, it just makes you more aware. You want to live to the fullest. It makes you want to be kind to everyone, because you never know what people are going through or what they've been through. So I take 9/11 as an example to all of us. There are a lot of things that happen over the world, but that one is one that sticks out in everyone's mind. So, I think it's a great memorial to just remember where you are, be thankful where you are. Even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, we still have to be thankful for every day. So,
yes, absolutely.
Yes, and the rain is here, but I'm still here. I'm on set, but I'm here with you guys.
Because you're a boss, and that's what you do.
Yes, I still show up for my podcast.
Alicia, where were you on 9/11, 20 years ago?
9/11, I was home, but my parents were in the air. So
wow.
They were literally on an airplane. They were in Paris. So, they were one of the planes that were in the air at the time. So they had to send them to Canada. And they had to be stuck in Canada for a while. Waiting for those to hear what flights they were on and trying to figure that out was just really, I was very nervous and
so scary.
And I also have a brother that works in Manhattan and a lot of family that, I'm from New York, so it hit me very close to home. And then not only parents, I was freaking out. Like, oh my God, what's airplane?
I can imagine.
And then they were stuck in Canada for about a couple weeks because they stopped all flights. They had been in like a gymnasium and just, it was a lot. But I was home. I was home.
What about you?
And, you know, working
That's
with
crazy.
my parents and just seeing the world, like all the stuff going on. It was very breaking, you know.
Well, this is a heavy topic. Today we got real deep with you guys and heavy.
Yes.
A lot of people were affected by that tragedy. So we just wanted to take time and just give it a minute to just reflect and to also say thank you for all the people who helped during that time, all the prayers that went up. Even in this pandemic, like I said, we can piggyback on that. During this time, we're all praying, coming together, making sure that we're covering each other. And I think 9/11 is a prime example of how we can still get through it and build, and it gives us hope. Pandemic ran.
That's
So,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Where were you?
It's like I was at a law firm. I was 20 years old, working at a law firm, believe it or not. So, fun fact, I'm Cuban and I didn't know Spanish. And I begged my parents to teach me to speak Spanish. And the only time they would speak Spanish is when they were mad at me. Go figure. So I threw myself into a Spanish-speaking law firm, and I told them that I knew how to speak Spanish, but I understood everything.
But you couldn't get
especially the bad words, I'm sure.
Right. So when patients, or new clients would come in, and I was a receptionist up front having to type everything they were saying to the attorneys in English. So that was cool for me because I can understand everything and type it in English. It was just me having to faith it till I make it and be confident, use my Spanglish skills to speak to the new clients. And but you're in West Tampa, so you could get away with Spanglish. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you, that's how I learned how to speak Spanish. Was I threw myself in the frying pan. I faithed it till I make it. And I think that's something we could all learn. Is if you don't know how to do something, but you want to do something, and other people are not going to help you, throw yourself in a situation.
Yeah.
So it was crazy because I saw it in the break room. I was up front and I heard people screaming, and I ran into the break room and I saw it on the TV, and it's like yesterday. And I think everybody could remember that day and where they were. And
second by second. Mm-hmm.
It's like goosebumps. It's like, man, it just shows you that tomorrow truly isn't promised.
No.
And you have to be right. Like, be right with the people that you have resentment towards or unforgiveness or bad blood with. There's no time for that. Just get right with them. Even if you don't feel like doing it, just do it, because you don't want to have more resentment, more hurt, and more pain because of regret if you don't get it right. So it's time to get right.
Yep, it's so true. I mean, tomorrow is definitely not promised. Even like with that situation, and there's just one that sticks out so much to me from that building in Miami. This one lady, she was pregnant. She went to her parents' house, I don't know, somewhere in Georgia or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And then the husband was supposed to fly the next morning with the little kid. And, I mean, this happened while they were sleeping. Like, how, if you try to, like, digest that, it's like, how can it even be possible, you don't know when is the last time you're going to see each other and, say anything. So what if you went to bed pissed off at each other, or
you never
crazy thing.
Oh, and I actually had like a habit when I was smaller. I kind of grew out of it now, but like I used to tell my parents, I'm like, I love you, and I'm like, drive safely wherever you go.
Yes.
Yeah, we do that now. I have that.
I think even if they were going to bed, I'm like, hey, if you wake up, if you ever get in a car, please drive safely. I just always hear, I'm like, something will happen to them on the road, and I want that to be the last thing that I said to them, just in case anything were to happen to them while they were on the road or outside.
Yes.
But, don't you feel that, like, I mean, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, but don't you feel maybe like after that you became more appreciative of your parents? I did. Something happens with my parents or with my mom, where I became so like overprotective and over everything. So now it's like I want to like carry her like a little piece of like a petal. I don't know why. It's just because I always loved my mom, but now it's after that it was just weird.
It's a deep appreciation for family.
I'm getting more emotional.
Yeah, y'all excuse my background. I'm sorry, it's raining pretty bad over here. So
it's okay.
Okay,
you're excused.
You're here, and that's what matters.
Yeah,
that's right. You showed up.
Wherever you're at, the lighting is
on point.
You got your skin like glowing, girl.
Hey.
That glow, baby.
That
The glow is real.
That's like the selfie spot right there.
Yeah. So I'm yeah, so that is amazing.
Where are you anyways?
I am on location. We're in downtown Tampa, working actually. Me and Alicia usually do this, but I am here because she is not today. So I'm on my own today, but we're doing a quinceañera, some pictures. So yeah, just doing hair and makeup, making sure they're beautiful.
I saw some of the girls that you did today, and their hair looked amazing.
Thank you.
I wouldn't expect nothing less.
You guys, I have enjoyed this so much, and we're about to shoot a little bit more. I will come back on if I can, but right now we're going to go ahead and film. So thank you so much.
You got to go.
We understand, beautiful.
All right, thank you.
Go be a beautiful boss. Mwah.
You guys continue it. I hope I can come back on in a minute, but let me go ahead and
we're going to be wrapping up soon anyways.
Okay. Yeah. All right, love you guys.
Bye. Love you.
See
you soon.
Bye.
Bye. So, Alicia, how is the weather in Atlanta?
Atlanta, the weather is it's good. It's kind of like Florida.
I've never been.
That humidity. Can't get away from that.
It's hot right now, but
Hotlanta. That's why they call it Hotlanta.
Yes, hot.
Oh. Yeah, I've never been.
We got to take a girls trip then to ATL.
Listen,
we definitely do. We need a girls trip.
Yes. That would be so badass if we were to do that.
I don't know about Atlanta for the girls trip, but we do need a girls trip.
Well,
I don't know. I'm like a water baby. I gotta be by the water.
I love water.
Me too.
We're island girls.
I'm a Caribbean. I was gonna say I'm a Caribbean girl, so I mean, put me by the water, and I'm like a fish.
We're Caribbean. I'm like, put us by the water at a beach. You know, something. Yeah. I want to hear the water splashing.
Bathing suits, 100%. It's funny because we were just having at the place that I'm working at now, the optical. They were having vacation days, so they have like a different theme on Fridays. And it's funny. So the last Friday was vacation day, and I'm like, I went up to my manager and I'm like, we have a problem. And I'm like, I wear very little clothes on my vacation, so what exactly am I supposed to wear for work?
What's appropriate?
Like, I mean, you know, it's like barely to almost none. So I don't think patients will appreciate that. And he's like, oh, you're fine. You can come however you want. Negative.
Okay. Watch me.
Right. So I went with like a baseball cap, and people was like, you look like you're going to a baseball game. I told you I didn't know what to wear. I mean, this is not what I do. It's either workout clothes, business clothes, or no clothes.
Right.
Yeah, I think most of your clothes is sexy, you know, but hey, if I had that body, I would be happy.
Oh, for sure.
Like I was busting up too. I just finished training. I was like, hurry up, last repetition. Get out.
Speaking of bossing up, so you're not training, but you're also now working at an optical center.
Yes.
That's new.
Yes.
Nobody knows that yet. This is like news for everybody.
No, we did, and a couple like 2 episodes back.
You did say you got your old job
going back to the optical. Yeah.
Well, just in case there are new viewers and new audience coming in for the first time.
That is true.
You know, they need to know that we multitask. Being a boss is not just doing one job. We're being a mom. We're training, we're meal prepping, we're working in the optical center, we're doing makeup and hair, we're doing taxes. I mean, there's so many different jobs that we're juggling.
We wear
and still moving forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the only way to do it. I mean, people make fun of me, like, do you like to work that much? And I'm like, if I want good things in my life, I want to travel. I mean, don't you have to work for it? It's not going to come to you.
Have people telling you do too much, like things like fun. It's like you can be good at multiple things,
I definitely agree. I mean, and a lot of people feel that, you know, oh, if you do too many different things, then you're going to half-ass. No, you can be, you know, top notch at everything that you do. You don't have to like half-ass it. I mean, you're already doing it, so might as well do it right.
I feel like as long as the thing that you do, you master it before you go on to the next, then you're fine. Like if you try to start like 50 things at one time, all at one time, then yeah, it can get a little confusing. But if you master one craft, you want to add on to it and master another one, do another one.
Yes.
I feel like it will work out just
for sure. Yeah. I mean, our main jobs is being moms. So, I mean, we got that down pat.
Exactly. And that's the number one job right there. A mom
juggles.
That never goes away.
And you're not trained to be a mom. You just you're basically throwing yourself in the frying pan like I did with the law firm. You know, it's like you just go with the flow and you learn by trial and error and you figure it out.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that hold them.
They don't come with instructions.
Right. But even if they did come with instructions, it still wouldn't apply.
I know. I don't like to read
every child, and you think that, okay, because you have one kid, it's like the same. No, every child is different. Every child has different needs and needs attention with different things. It's
temperaments.
Their tempers, everything. I always say, I mean, it's funny because when I was pregnant, I gave my mom hell. Like I gave her hell. And so when I was pregnant, I was like, please forgive me for everything that I did. And she's like, oh, too late. And I tell you, I mean, he was like a late bloomer because this kid was just so good. Like I used to get home 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning from bartending, and he will get up, and he was so little, and he will like climb down the stairs, grab a chair, he will grab the box of cornflakes, climb the stairs again, and then I'll just feel him like tapping on my shoulder, and I will just pick him up, put him in my bed. He will turn on the TV, and I just hear
oh my God.
Just he will sit there and just eat cornflakes while I'm sleeping. And I'm like, oh my God, like I love you. I mean, it was just he never got into anything until he got older, obviously. Now I want to like
yeah.
He's still good. He's still good.
And this is why we need community of other moms to get encouragement and support, and just we learn from each other. You know, just like last night, you know, we were all hanging out together, and I learned so much from all of you just sharing stories. And I think that's what people lack in this world, because we're so attached to electronics and we're so used to social media that people are not putting themselves out there to connect as much. And I'm so grateful and so blessed for my Boss Love Babe that we have each other and that we can connect and we can uplift each other. We could, you know, share our frustrations. We could cry together. We could pray together, you know. So I think that's something that people need to, I guess, like be reminded and just know the power of community, know the power of connection. And if, you know, to find a small group, if they don't have it within their friends, you know, there's local churches that have like small groups for all different types of, you know, people.
Oh,
like
Alicia.
Where did she go?
Communication issue.
Well, she'll pop in. So the non-denominational church that I go to, they have all these type of groups. And so I put in my little preferences, you know, like a dating app, you know, you put your preferences on what kind of group you want. And only one group popped up, and it was called Rolling with Jesus.
That's so cool.
And it's like, if you got rollerblades, if you have a skateboard, if you have any type of wheels, just meet up at the park, let's roll out, and then let's talk and connect afterwards. And I ended up being the only person that signed up.
That's so crazy.
So I got a date with somebody tomorrow, not like that kind of date, but like more of a connection, platonic, you know, friendship to connect. And then, you know, you never know where that's going to go and if that's going to grow. So I'm excited.
It's good. You do have to find that support, you know, that support from other people. And just like what you were saying with social media, I think people is so disconnected from that emotional level,
right?
That, you know, it just, you're missing the touch and you're missing, you know, all these different feelings because everything is so superficial now. I mean, it's like, let's go back to simplicity, you know? I mean, let's bring it back to go and knock on each other's door, like, hey, let's have some coffee, you know? And I mean, that worked.
It's like with kids, you know, it's like, get off the electronics and go outside and climb a tree.
Yes. Go get your butt busted.
If you told a kid to go climb a tree, they're like, what?
For what?
They look at you all weird and stuff. It's like,
I have scars. I have a lot of scars.
Me too.
Because I had no choice but to get on a bike, climb the trees, jump the walls. I mean, I tell you this, I was the only granddaughter at 13 years old with 17 boys. Like, talk about an ass whooping. You had no choice but to be tough, because if not, I mean, hell, I don't know what would have happened.
Oh my gosh. So, speaking of ass whooping, let me just say how much that's changed nowadays.
Oh my God.
Like, everybody in our generation that we grew up around, everybody got their ass whooped. Everybody. I mean, anybody that I know was like, and that caused them to become respectful, you know, focused, hard workers.
Fearful too, you know, like, don't mess up because there are consequences.
Yes. And grateful, you know, you're humble and grateful.
Yeah.
And I mean, kids now, you try to discipline them anyway near how we got disciplined, you got DCF calling you. You got, like, you're being threatened. You're like, are you serious? So things have changed so much. Yeah. Kids have become so weak and so brainwashed, you know, by social media.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because we need to get the family back.
Society in general, you know, I mean, I wouldn't even just blame it on just social media. Society in general has gotten to the point where timeout, that did not exist when I was growing up. I've never heard of timeout. I mean,
more like knockout.
Timeout after you got the ass whooping and you're gonna go and sit in your room and kind of watch TV or whatever. I mean, I even remember, like, at one time that I did something of the many things that I used to do, and I got a spanking, and it was like dinner time, and I was like, well, I mean, are we gonna eat? No, you're going to your room. And I was like, you're not gonna feed me? Like, what's wrong with you?
Hey, take away something that you love, and you know, you'll never forget that situation and that life lesson.
Yes.
But it's so sad because society has so much pressure, especially on social media. You know, so like, society is it's all that electronic. So, you know, fortunately, we have to kind of like go with the trends, and if this is where people are at, then this is where we need to be, just like podcasts, you know. It's sad to say, but, you know, you have to meet halfway. You have to
work with
kind of like, you have to like kind of like join the team. You know, it's like, all right, well, you can't beat them, you're going to join them. So,
yeah. But, you know, I also think that, you know, as individuals, it's funny because I always told my son, like, you see that person, picture a world, like their head, it's a world, and you see the other person, that's another world. So each head, each person has their own world in their own way, you know, and God only knows what happens in that world and in that world. However, though, I always told him, you and I, we are one little world, you know, and that world, it's when we cross this door. So what happens in this house, it's our world, and it has nothing to do with what's happening out there. So the discipline and the love and the faith and all those things, they do have to come from home, you know? So if you're not taking the time as a parent, or even to be your kid's friend, to implement those values and those things, so that way when they do step out into this other world, they have, you know, how to fight it, you know, they have those barriers, you know, build up to know what's good and what's not, and you know, so it has to definitely start from home. I mean, I thank my parents for whipping my ass as much as they did. Maybe not with all the things they use, you know, because it wasn't just the freaking chancleta, but it was a lot more things.
Yeah.
But regardless, now I look back, it taught me to be, you know, who I am today in so many different levels. You know, the work ethic and the respect and my values. I mean, it's all there just because of their way of discipline, you know?
Right. We hated it then, but we thank them now. And, discipline is needed. It's vital. And especially like when you go out and about to, restaurants, especially, you just want to enjoy a nice dinner. And then you have this screaming child next to you or even across the restaurant. You're like, are you serious right now? Where the hell are the parents? Why are the parents not doing it? I want to get up and take that child to the bathroom. Yeah. It's like, people, like parents, like be present with your kids, like handle them, but so many parents are not able to handle their own life that their kids are just adding more stress that they just want to ignore it. And everyone else can hear them, but they're ignoring it. It's like, that's not going to solve it. Like, handle it.
Oh, they give them a pat and a phone. Like, here, you go and mind your business. And then they wonder why their kids end up doing so many different things that they do.
Yeah, it's sad. But, on the positive side, I am so blessed to have you in my life. We're both boy moms. And you have a soon-to-be 21-year-old, right?
Yes. Yeah. We were thinking we were just talking about it, like, dude, we should go to Vegas, but he's like, I don't want to go to Vegas. If you meet my son, eventually you will, and I don't know why you still haven't.
No, seriously.
If you meet him, he's like a 60-year-old man trapped in a 20-year-old body. I mean, he has like the most old soul that you will ever meet, and I love it. But so I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm like, oh my God, you're actually going to be legal to do so many different things that I don't want you to do.
Girl, that is like a whole other level. That's a big milestone. I thought my son turning 13 was a big milestone, but girl, 21, ooh, yes. Ooh. Yes. But I'm so glad that you have those skills and that experience this season, because you were able to help me, last night, giving me guidance, and that to me is valuable. It's priceless, so I treasure our friendship. I treasure our connection. I treasure, the valuable lessons that I can learn from you. And, the fact that we're both personal trainers and we're both boy moms, and, we're both Latina, and we love our family. So I love that. I love.
To me, being able to share, with you and with Alicia, with Monique yesterday, to me, it's so amazing because we were together for so long. And even though we did get to know each other, it's like we're reaching a different level, Yeah. It's like now we really get into the deeper part of who we are. And I love it. And I mean, and I got so emotional. I was telling my mom about it, because I'm like, you can plan whatever you want. And that was my post on social media today. You can make all the plans you want on anything that you can think about. And if that's not what he wants, I don't care who you are or what you end up doing. It's just not going to turn out the way you want, because that's not his plan. So when you let God take the wheel,
come on,
he's just going to do with you as he pleases. And let me tell you, you can be happier with the result. So
you nailed it, like on the head, 100%. And this is why it's episode 10, is because sometimes we have to take our hands off the steering wheel. Yes. Like you said, let Jesus take the wheel, and boom.
Yep.
Here you go. This is where you're like, all right, I can't do this no more. I surrender. So I think a good outro right now to say goodbye to everybody, because we already hit our 30 minutes, is, you know what? Let's try for a whole week of just surrendering. Just surrender to God's will, surrender to what's, in front of you, and be present with that, and raise your hands and surrender, because in public, surrender is a sign of weakness, but in your spiritual walk, surrender is a sign of strength. Yes. So you can be strengthened through surrender. So my hands are up. Is your hands up, Jesse? Yeah.
And just give it all to him, and let him handle it for you. I mean,
and this is how you get bossed up.
Yes, if you're
having, you have to fake it till you make it.
Yes,
you have to fake it till you make it to boss up, and that's how we did it. Yes. So we encourage everyone that's watching So put your hands up for episode 10 and boss up. And I hope you have an amazing week. And we will see you next Monday. We're going to be live in a location all together. I'm so excited to share that with you next week. So don't miss it.
Yes.
And cheers to the next episode on National Peanut Day. Good night. All right, y'all. Mwah. Have an amazing Motivation Monday.
Boss up.